Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. I'm Astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, thanks so much for being a part of High Vibe TV. I hope that you are a member. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure that you join us on our apps or, of course, on the website, highvibe.tv. Of course, all the exclusive horoscopes that I've been doing every day for over 11 years now. And, of course, Deep Astrology, which you don't get here on YouTube, or Full Disclosure, or the other awesome shows that are all on High Vibe. Check it out. It's only $10.99 a month, or you can get even cheaper rates by buying by 3-month or 6-month. Just go to highvibe.tv for those. Or you can just subscribe through the apps. I also right now am doing, I'm going to be a daddy sale. I'm sure that some people did see this come up. I'm going to be a dad, so there's going to be where I'm going to be not at the studio as much, especially right before the pregnancy comes to its close and then labor happens. And then, of course, when we have our baby daughter, Aurora, I'll be at home, of course, helping with raising the baby. So I'll be at home more. So I have a special rate that I've done, and I've made some times that I usually have never made available. This is only going to be until the next eclipse, which is the lunar eclipse. So by that, I'm ending this sale. You don't have to do a code. It's just already, it says, I'm going to be a daddy special. Go to highvibe.tv or click on consultations when you get there, or there's a link down below here on this video on High Vibe or on YouTube. Well, we are all here, everybody. We are here for the solar eclipse in Aries. It feels like we are getting a big view, a big view on things with the big square to Pluto and Aquarius as it's just made its ingress in less than a month, right? We haven't even had Pluto in Aquarius for a month. And here we are with the biggest, most intense eclipse of our lives. Really, it's the reprogramming from the one 19 years ago that was here. Yeah, there was an eclipse 19 years ago that was here. Remember that? 19 years ago, we had one in 2004 that literally was right in the same exact spot to the minute, pretty much. It was at 29 degrees Aries and 49 minutes. It's interesting, though, because this one's tighter orb to the North Node. It's higher in magnitude. It's a hybrid solar eclipse. It is very unique and very rare. It's in square to Pluto and Aquarius. This is the official start of Pluto in Aquarius, but it also is the official start of the age of Aquarius. This is the actual new moon solar eclipse that is what we've all been waiting for 19 years. If you've been aware of the last 19-year cycle, because we had the transit of Venus that was in 2004 and 2012 with Venus and Gemini and the retrograde there that created an actual eclipse of Venus in our sight. It's once every 120 years. And it was right before that transit of Venus, this same eclipse happened. Of course, it was Pluto that was in Sag. It was retrograde at the time. It was a Mercury retrograde in Aries at the time at 25 degrees. But it wasn't that strong and powerful. It was in the sense of what it was to bring. But now, this is the one that, if you've been on your spiritual path, this is the one that is the transformation that we are all going into new timelines, into a new world, whether we like it or not. A lot of us are ready. A lot of people are not. And it's very unique because this is the end of all the planets being direct, because within a day and a half of this eclipse, we are going to see Mercury station retrograde, and Mercury will be stationing retrograde very close to conjuncting Uranus. And with Pluto being in Aquarius, and Aquarius that's disposited by Uranus, of course, and Uranus being in Taurus, this is an eclipse with change like we've never seen before. And it's about embodying the change. With the moon that, of course, is going to be here, that's moving from right at the last degree of Aries in a solar eclipse, then moving exalted into Taurus. And we've already seen that. This was the first new moon that we had in Aries, remember, on March 20th when we came into the astrological new year. Then the moon, a couple days later, went into Taurus. So we saw a sun exalted and a moon exalted. We're seeing it again. But of course, this is happening at a cusp, so it's really weird because of the fact that, and I'll be able to show you in the chart here in a second, but I'm just having this talk with you here at the High Vibe TV studios about how important this eclipse is. It's the one that will change your life forever. It also is the one that's going to be a rude awakening for more than I think of people who really do that spiritual work. In the sense that it is so unique and different. It is a world where there has been nuggets that have been placed all over the place with Mercury and Uranus that are going to be together for the next week. Mercury will not move off 15 degrees of Taurus until next week. So this whole week, while the sun is changing signs on a cusp during a hybrid solar eclipse, squaring Pluto, and then this is going to be the sun ingress into Taurus, that's going to square over to Pluto in Aquarius. This is new, it's different, but with the North Node being in Taurus, with Mercury retrograding, conjunct Uranus, and more importantly, there's so many interesting mutual receptions here, like Mercury and Venus. Mercury, of course, being in Taurus and Venus being in Gemini. They would love to switch. The moon being in Aries and Mars being in Cancer. And even I just think of it as a moment to where this is where you have to really 100% make your greatest investment in the complete change of the identity that you've been connected to of an age of Pisces world. Let's go into that right now real quick here. Of course, I just did Deep Astrology and Leo King Live with your sun sign horoscopes and so forth of how this is all going to affect you. And the only way that I know how to do it, which is the craziest way, nobody does sun sign horoscopes like I do. It's definitely way intense and I'm not even using a chart. I can do it all. I'm not doing it basic either. For anybody that's been on High Vibe or watched me over the years, I had to get it to I do it every week, but with this amount of energy this week, because it's hard. I'm doing on YouTube just new moon and full moon horoscopes, and it's just like there's so much fucking happening over the next couple weeks, especially that we're in eclipse season, but even more so even after that. And remember, this is the end, folks. Not only the end of what was in your life completely, but it's the end in this year of you continuing to go upwards in a new direction. It is retrograde fucking city more than last year. Once Mercury retrogrades after this eclipse, the rest of the year, we are in a retrograde the whole year. Okay? We will always have a retrograde planet throughout the whole year. So, and I know that we're used to that, but this one this year, I talk about it all the time, but you know, it's so weird watching these YouTube people just be like, the sun is in the first house. Like, we don't know what they're you know, it's just very weird. I'm not going to go off like I went on the last horoscope that was the full moon in Libra. I felt like I had some justification there, which is true. But here we are. Solar eclipse in Aries. We are finally here, and it's going to be happening at 29 degrees. Is this thing going to freaking work right now? Yes, it is. So 29 degrees here and 50 minutes. In 2004, we had this, all right? It's not like it's something that's just popping up out of nowhere, okay? 2, it's happening at the final degree. It's very edgy here, but it's in square to Pluto that is in Aquarius, right? Now, with Pluto, of course, it's life and death. It's, you know, people want to say transformation, but really, it's about your expression. It's time for those that have been doing this work forever with Venus that is in Gemini. The North Node is in Taurus. So Venus rules Taurus. Venus is in Gemini. That North Node dispositing aspect is in Gemini. This is about Venus conjunct Aldebaran. This is the star that deals with Archangel Michael. This is the star that deals with God's military commander. This is embodying the highest element of being a light worker that ever was. The last 19 years was the buildup for people who really are the real light workers, and this is your eclipse. For everyone else, this is you having to start to figure out how to get out of the matrix. And we are all here to assist you. But it ain't gonna be the way that you were programmed. The program is ending. And over the course of this next month, you are going to watch what you did not believe possible. Especially as this is just the beginning, because Pluto in Aquarius is only here for a little bit. And then by May 1st, it retrogrades. And then, of course, we come into the end of the spring and the beginning of the summer where Pluto comes back into Capricorn. And the final Pluto return of America and so forth. But this is the end of the age of Pisces. And this is a moment with this new moon of your identification, your programming, all having to change and get your spiritual divine orders fully embodied and expressed out. Pluto is about expression. You either live in this life fully or you don't, okay? And in Aquarius, it's about how are we going to make the shift of timelines and to shift this collective in a more positive space. And that comes from you. The most triggering part about this eclipse energy, of course, is the fact that, one, we're dealing with it in very personal signs, Aries, and then, of course, the transfer from this new moon solar eclipse that's moving into Taurus. Very personal in Taurus. And with Venus being in Gemini. Mercury, of course, at 15 degrees, going to be here with Uranus for the whole entire week. And it's going to station retrograde right after. We're able to figure out things, and this is not a typical Mercury retrograde during this eclipse that's about to happen, that is one of a traditional one. The fact that now Pluto is in Aquarius and Uranus is the planet that we have to look at. It's activating Uranus. It's a very extreme Uranus. It's not about, I'm going to wait and see and keep holding myself back. You've already gotten all that info. It's where you have to face your fears. And the biggest fear for most people is the program to get to the better place in their life is exiting the matrix and the bullshit and every single lie of what the reality was that has all been set up for your failure. That has all been set up for you to be a slave. And more importantly, that has all been set up for you to keep being a cheerleader and an advocate for the matrix. That's why I'm calling this the eclipse for the light worker. And for everyone else, it's time to get on board, not like a cult, but on your own wavelength, on your own power, and to find it. This is also a trip because it's about self-worth. And a lot of people really don't know their self-worth, nor do they express it. A lot of people also know their self-worth, but don't do it. This is the beginning of you having to make the biggest choice of your life. Saturn in Pisces is at 4 degrees. It's an awesome sextile and supporting the nodes. It's trining the south node. It's making a sextile to the north node. It's also in support of this solar eclipse. But with Saturn now being in Pisces and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, being there, and at 26 degrees, which, by the way, we've never been here since 1847 into 48. So, been a long time. We have never been here. So we already are feeling this. Where in the hell is this going? This is not a time where the people who are lost have self-worth issues right now. If you're feeling lost and you don't know where to go and you don't know how to do it all, it's a self-worth issue. And it's also an identification issue because you've been programmed into a false sense of yourself, an outside view of what you thought the world was defining you by. This is the battle because you know what's going to always win is the sun. The sun is exalted in Aries, and this is a new moon in Aries. And what's interesting about it is it's squaring Pluto in its worst place, Aquarius. Remember, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. And Scorpio, Aquarius, this is not the place where Pluto wants to be. Okay? This is not where Pluto gets its normal power. It's also Pluto opposing now the 0 degree of Aries or of Leo, which is your true expression, right? So this is where so many people have repressed their true uniqueness and how to express themselves in their most radical way, which is not radical like a rebel. It's the A populace that has gone against its true humanity by not expressing itself, by repressing itself, and by not stepping into its power. Especially if you look at the spiritual community, what are the number one and let's say number 1 and 2 triggers? Ego, self, understanding, identification of what to do, money, self-worth, and creating and having the ability to do it. Those are the big triggers. And guess what? Everything's at. Of course, 19 years ago in 2004, during April 19th, this eclipse happened that built us over the last 19 years with those Venus transits, which that's the most interesting. You can go on High Vibe and watch Deep Astrology because that's where I'm doing it. I'm not going to sit here and spend an hour on this horoscope. Venus this whole week is going exactly over where all those Venus eclipse points were, those 2 positions in this week. So if you think about, this is a solar eclipse that's a lot more than just a day. It's the next 19 years. If Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for 20 years, where do you think the solar eclipse of this one that was exactly 19 years ago is going to be? It's actually going to be at 0 Taurus. Taurus solar eclipses with the North Node are very rare. We had one last year, and the one before that was all the way back in the 80s. We didn't get it in 2004. We got the same one we got now, just how we missed a Taurus solar eclipse again. So the number one problem on the planet is people don't know the value of themselves. They don't know what is good, and they don't know actually what is true value of life. It's all the most fake shit. It's desires, not real things that can change this collective, and knowing the power of themselves. Saturn in Pisces loses a little bit of it. Well, I would say it loses a lot. This is the first time you've seen in over 6 years when you look at the essential dignities, and we're lucky. This is a solar eclipse that every planet is in the positive, but it's Saturn that's at the lowest you have seen since December 19th of 2017. Saturn has been the big dog. It is no longer the big dog. It is the lowest energy. And it's with Neptune. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And when you disposit that, most people have no idea that this is an eclipse about clearing out the Pisces whole entire last 2,000 years. You're going to see people doubling down in religion like crazy. I've been warning about this. Have no idea about how the universe works and actually even how that came into about. We're trying to actually find the truth of humanity, and we're trying to break through a matrix of lies and so many things. And of course, all these evil things that get created that are all illusionary to have you not really see the truth that you have to get through. More importantly, this is where Saturn is only going to allow things to manifest that are spiritually in alignment with your life. If it is not, it is over, it is done. It doesn't matter what it is. Especially whatever you identify with, whatever that you hold value in yourself, and especially that's based off a fake aspect where you use something for gain in a way of like, oh, I just have a desire and it makes me feel good, but it's just to get me through this until I can find something better. All not going to work out. This is Saturn that will only allow, with Neptune, the highest of spiritual aspects to manifest. Those that have been working since the North Node entered into Taurus at January of 2022, when, by the way, that was when Venus stationed direct in Capricorn after being in a retrograde. This has been a North Node transit that has brought us to this eclipse. All the way from January 2022. What's even crazier is the last 19 years has been the buildup and the big compression. That 2012 happened in the middle of it. That, even thinking of the eclipses that we've had in Scorpio on the opposite side, have happened in the North Node in Scorpio in 2013 with Saturn. Like, this is Saturn now in its waning transit and its waning sextile at 60 degrees from the conjunction point of the North Node that we will be seeing here in the next couple of years. So we have to remember that we are at a major moment in life. And by the way, that's going to be Saturn, Neptune, and fucking the North Node at the end of Pisces. There's no more allowing life to go the way that we thought it was supposed to go off of bullshit reality that was fake, that was exposed over the last 19 years. I think it's really interesting that it was exactly 19 years ago to this day that George W. Bush was selling the American people on the Patriot Act to get enacted again. In 2001, it got passed, and because of 9/11, they started to bring it in, and then they sold to the American people during the same eclipse. Do the Patriot Act, we need it for terrorism and to keep the war going and to make it more intense. That's what the last solar eclipse at this degree was. You need to wake up of all the bullshit going on, all the lies. Do you think all the leaks with this Pluto square that are everywhere are planned or whatever? Maybe. But it's definitely a moment where you need to look at all the leaks in your own life of where you are buying into lies, and you're buying into the lies in your own life, and you're buying into the lies of where you think life's supposed to go off some fluffy duffy bullshit that really isn't who you are, because this is an Aries energy. It's where this is the exaltation of the sun, and you get it with a moon that's going to exalt itself for 6 hours afterwards. That's twice in a month that you've gotten the most beautiful energy where the sun and the moon are exalted twice. Right before Mercury retrogrades. This is the rocket, and I think it's weird that they are sending up a rocket on the 20th, right? Elon Musk and sending up this Starship. Will it blow up, or will it be about going forward? With Pluto and Aquarius, it's about learning to take the wild risks and the gambles that are based off the hunch that's true to yourself. But it's all about us finding ways out of an age that has been all full of lies, age of deception. I've been doing, go watch it. I did it in 2016. It's like I fucking told you about this shit a long time ago. It's not like I'm, saying this is new. This is the moment though. Jupiter, of course, still in Aries with this solar eclipse. Now, to me, that's the most interesting part, is like, it's a new story on top of a new identity, on top of a new, with a big square to Pluto and Aquarius. It's rewriting a complete new chapter of a complete new age. And you, at the beginning, are you going to be somebody that's manifesting and creating this new age, or an observer? I've been saying this a lot. If you are an introvert, it is the end of the world of the introvert. It is the extrovert. Go back to 1777 when Pluto was in Aquarius. Most people just observed the world change. Not too many people participated. Only very few light workers stepped in to build freedom and change in the world. Same thing's happening again. And it might take you 19 years till the end of Pluto and Aquarius, till we have a solar eclipse at 0 Taurus with a North Node in Aries, for you to finally figure out, like I did 19 years ago. It took me a long time over that last 19 years to get to this place where I'm at now. And it's okay. It's not about a competition. This is about everybody now has to really be honest. Who I really am, what I'm capable of is true. But when I reflect that off the world that's bullshit, and more importantly, when I reflect that off a world that's full of things to where they're trying to tell me how to be, that's exactly where you have lost. You really think that all the systems that this Pluto and Capricorn in the last 15 years that tried to hold up with everything from Scotch tape to fucking people like Fauci, and I can't believe that people actually kept it up with these kind of people, or even look at all the fucking people that have been involved in that shit before 2020. It's pretty ridiculous. It's all been a fucking house on stilts. The whole fucking cliff has already eroded, and they take toothpicks and they keep super gluing them on. So when it comes to your idea of how the world's going to function and the world's going to go in an age of Pisces, that's literally, and this is from me, I would love to have a debate with somebody, because go watch my Age of Deception. I have covered everything about the ages and done fucking massive amounts of work with it. And I'm telling you, This is the actual start of the age of Aquarius right now. It was weird. Everybody talked about it. Oh, Pluto coming into Aquarius will be the start of the fucking age of Aquarius. I don't hear any of those motherfuckers saying anything about this anymore. It's like, and tell me the fucking date and show me the proof. This is it right here. Because you know why? When you look at where the next eclipse that's in this cycle is, it's at 0 Taurus with 29-degree Pluto in Aquarius. And it switches the game. And it finally brings us the Taurus eclipse back. And so that's been the one thing, is when it comes to money and fear and all the things that deal with how I'm going to get through this world, that Pluto and Aquarius energy, that's been the problem, is that people are so afraid. And Saturn's here saying, you're only going to be able to manifest what is in spiritual alignment, not what this idea of a false world is. You're going to have to see through the illusions. You're going to have to be, with Venus and Gemini, cunning, sharp, especially that Venus is on its way out of bounds. Venus, 23 north, 57 minutes. And we have Mars, which is 24 north, 39 minutes. Now, Mars is on its way back inbounds. Venus is on her way outbounds. I'm not going to cover it on here, but if you watch Deep Astrology, these two switch. Mars starts to come back inbounds and passes and gets closer inbounds, and Venus goes way out of bounds. Venus is starting to slow down, doing only 108. Mars is starting to speed up, doing 32 minutes a day. This is where that Venus-Mars aspect, these two, they're going to get close in Leo. But remember, Venus retrogrades on July 22nd, and Mars goes ahead. So the feminine energy and also this receptive energy, and with the North Node finishing in Taurus here over this month into next month, this is your last call of building and staying on the path and getting out of the shadow. With Pluto being in square to the sun and this eclipse, with the South Node being in Scorpio, and that's Pluto, that's its home. You have to get out of this unwholesome, shadowy life. Drugs, alcohol, especially with Saturn and Pisces, Neptune. All these things of over-sexualization, not building a wholesome life. You will hate your life for 19 years if you don't build a wholesome life. And it's already been, I'm going to be honest, because it's already the culmination point where we've already seen this whole transit, people are going to be getting that dose of medicine of, wow, you really picked the life that ends to where nothing's there. Because this is it. This is the peak moment here of all this Taurus energy. This is the peak moment of all this really intense Aries eclipse energy with the square to Pluto and Aquarius, bringing in this whole new story and this whole new reality and actually new age and new world and new timelines. There is no other timeline but a wholesome one to create a better new world, a wholesome one. One that is actually robust, one that actually is not based upon shadows and desires, and especially that ones have been based upon a false world, that have been based upon reptilian shit trying to trap you. So, it's a great chart. It's the best fucking astrology I've ever seen in my life. It's the most powerful. Are you going to use it is the big question. Are you actually going to make the changes in your life? And there's only a select few that will actually hear this video that have been doing the work for fucking 19 years that know this is the one where the universe is going to pay off with everything that you need to keep doing the work. Stop tripping. Keep doing it. But the only way you know you're doing it is if it's fucking without breaks. It's all the time. It's Aries. It's Taurus. It's Saturn and Pisces with Neptune here. There is no such thing as it's your job. It's your sole purpose. It's everything you've got. And where it is constantly building when the returns take a while. And this is the biggest return coming back after 19 years to those that have been doing the work. And this is where if you've been putting the work into places that have been in the false world, all the returns over this next month of 19 years will make you realize that that loss is a gain to actually start on your real spiritual journey. No longer can you also just say, this is the end of the fake spiritual. I I meditate or I show off that I do something or I just talk about it a little, but I don't live it fully. I don't actually do the work. I don't actually define myself and actually create something from it. I just keep being an observer. The hardest part about this is a lot of people came here to observe. And so this is the eclipse that's like you've identified with wanting to be an observer and watching the matrix fucking fall. There's your seat. Congratulations. It's going to feel pretty real to you. And then there's others that are going to be the actors in this play that are actually been divinely here to create and be part of it. So do you want to be one that creates this new reality in this new way, or are you going to be an observer? And if you're saying that you want to do it, but you really are going to be an observer, you got to be honest with yourself. This Pluto square is not going to say, oh yeah, no. They say they want to do it. No. Venus is with with Aldebaran. And I hate to say it too, Pluto's in Aquarius. Like, I don't know what to tell you all. If you are an introverted person that doesn't know how to express himself fully, why does Pluto and why does that energy of Scorpio rule sex? Yes, it brings life. Yes, it brings change. But more importantly, it's the expression of the inner to the outer. It's also how you attract something outside inside. You don't know if somebody's having an orgasm if they don't make a noise or they don't express themselves. The louder the expression, the more intense and real it is. If you can't express your identity and your passion and who you are and what you create, you came here to be an observer. So, keep running towards what you think is the new cool thing, because it's going to be a trap. Pluto in Aquarius is not about what's cool. It's interesting seeing the Pluto return of Aquarius. Everybody loves going back into American history and having an old 1776 flag. In 1976, when we had the 200-year celebration, people were into it, but people also were like, okay, next day, it's kind of weird having a 1976 flag and a 76 flag. Now it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. It wasn't cool back in the day. It wasn't cool. And I have a message for all those in tech. If you are in tech and you are doing what you think is cool right now, you need to ask yourself, number one, have you been taken over by a reptilian? Have you been taken over by the dark? And are you a follower? Because basically we're at the point to where if you are a follower in life of a way that and because you think it's trendy, this is Pluto in Aquarius, you think it's trendy, you think it's cool, you think it'll give you something, you think these people will give you some notoriety. They won't. They will fuck you over, the reptilians, and they will turn you into a reptilian, and they will also take you away from this new earth into the new timeline. I'm sorry to say it. And they will pull you into a war. And this goes for everybody. Are you still attached to a fake world? Did you really go through the last 3 years and you really thought that it was just a blip in the world and that it wasn't a blip in a matrix trying to wake you up? And you're still identifying and you're still giving every fucking excuse in the fucking world. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I have to do this. This is better. This is the way, This is your big fucking eclipse to either be an observer or write the history and also write what the age of Aquarius is going to be. And you cannot, this is the problem with age of Pisces. They confuse people. The Old Testament and the New Testament. You really think those two books together made sense? No, they didn't. If anything, it makes everybody always go, it's always a special thing, in any religion to go into the Old Testament to be like, we need to just remember to go to the past about why Jesus went through this bad things and what he did about. I'm telling you, if you're going to try and bring the old world into this new world, go please be an observer. Please. I'm asking you as a light worker. I'm asking for probably a lot of other light workers out there. Please go be an observer. Watch the new world happen, and please don't bring in the old one. Don't be an Old Testament person trying to make a New Testament. And also, with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, with all the crazy shit over this next month, you are going to see more people turning into revelations and the world ending, and with the square to Pluto here with the Sun in Taurus, and have no stability in their life, and be lost in the South Node in Scorpio, and be lost in religious cultism at its highest. You're going to see it in government. You're going to see it everywhere. You're going to see people you know out of nowhere be like, fuck the New Age and fuck the fucking occult people and all this shit, and they all need to be, they're crazy, and they all need to go, and Satan's taking them over. And they're literally the ones that are holding on to the biggest deception, and the same thing that happened in 1523 with Saturn and Neptune. The same thing. But none of those people, maybe a fraction, because I'm a North Node in Gemini, so I have to be factual, right? There is probably 1% of people that even follow Christianity that even know what happened in 1523 when Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces. They don't even have a clue about the Heretics Act in the Netherlands. They don't even have a clue that the Pope died at the end of that year. They don't even have a clue that it was all a lie to keep you in control. They have no idea that the books of Revelation were not literal. It was translations. They couldn't get it in the printing press in Geneva during the Geneva Bible, that even the King James Bible doesn't have the actual revelations. People are basing revelations off of fucking randomized, fast done, quick hit to try and get something out. They don't even realize they're just stuck in the biggest bullshit of their life. This is the eclipse to where you're going to see who's really going the new way and who is completely stuck. And it's you in the mirror, you and yourself, and you also with deep self-worth issues of your amazing ability to create and help with this reality and change it, instead of using it and giving it to evil, which is the real evil that's hidden. And it's what the Bible talks about. It's what every religion talks about. It's what the ancients before the ideas of these religions talk about. But you're buying into it. People already buy into the mark of the beast every day. I hate to be the one that's just going to tell you they live the matrix life. You live the life that's based upon what's been created outside of yourself to think is cool and to do, instead of live within where God lives within your heart. And be attached to a reality where you're too afraid of what will happen if you exit stage left from a matrix that literally is here, that has lied to you in every way. I mean, just look at the last 3 years. You know how many people took the mark? Fucking over half the world. You fell for a lie. You already fell for the trickster. You already took the mark. Admit it. Be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself and say that there was no lie. Stop lying to yourself and saying it's all, no, it didn't happen to me. No, it did. You got to be honest with yourself. There's no problem with it. You have the power to get through this and change it, but you got to be on top of it. This Pluto in Aquarius too, with this big solar eclipse squaring it, is right when you think it's all good, is when that Pluto underneath goes, with that Uranian surprise, no, it's not. And that Mercury starting to get close to being like, wait, what? This is the doorway to open out of so much of what has all been the biggest false bullshit reality and control system, that Pluto still has to retrograde back into Capricorn twice. This is the eclipse where it's bridging us to in 2 weeks a lunar eclipse where there is a king being anointed in a military uniform that is to bring on a war. Do not watch that shit. Do not. It was literally, if I'm correct, during the coronation of Charles II, it was William Lilly, the astrologer, that literally said, this is the worst coronation during a lunar eclipse you could ever do. They went and did it anyway. And Charles II had a horrible fucking reign. Charles I had a horrible reign. What do you think Charles III's going to bring? If you're super duper crazy Christian and you believe all that all the way, and I grant it, go. I support you. If you believe in an Antichrist, you're looking at that person that's going to be anointed publicly for the first time. Nobody's ever anointed publicly. You need to wake up right fucking now. It's all being set right now. Every domino is already set. Jupiter in Aries is about this new story. You've got to find confidence. You've got to know your value and worth, and you got to do it against this bullshit lie of a reality and world. And this, I mean, we already know from quote unquote the woke shit, but it's way beyond that. Because that's just skimming the most basic shit. You could be all awake about woke, but you could be still living the most matrix bullshit reality of your life. And that's the damn truth. You're not unique at all. You're just another parrot parroting what everybody else is saying. This is where you got to stop being a parrot. You're the parrot to a reptilian, and you got to end it. Yeah, my life is supposed to be it. I'm supposed to my 401k. You're a parrot. I've warned you all for so long. I've given you every fucking thing I can. And I have way more to give. All I'm asking for you is, if you're an observer, please be an observer. And please take your seat and admit, okay, this is my moment now. I look at the last 19 years of your life and who you chose to be. And there was a sparkle of truth. And if you took that road, this is your benefit. If you didn't, that's a timeline that we're all here to assist you when you're ready. You know? Like, it's transformational on the highest level. There has never been a transit. If you thought 2020 was crazy, that wasn't. The reason why I always said, like, yeah, this is the biggest transit of what's going to happen to wake people up in the world and of course, be the lies to pay attention to, right? This is the transit that actually is the one that changes your life forever. Your life. Not because of the world. Because of the world that you're choosing to believe in or not, or be the writer of the new world or be the observer. It's all in your moment right now. 19 years ago, you went through the same thing, but in way much more basic and simple way. Not heavy shit like this. This is heavy. It can be light, but you're going to have to realize whatever you are complicating yourself with this Mercury that's stationing on top of Uranus, it's going to be here for the next fucking week. You have to realize that you are creating every fucking excuse of why you're not good enough and why that, no, I won't be able to, or I don't have the money to, or I don't have the ability to, or I don't have this, or I don't have this, or I don't have this, or blah, 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 blah. You have to get out of that shit right now. Because, you can only save yourself. That's the hard part. You can only save yourself. We all can't save you right away. It's going to take us the next 19 years. We've already spent 19 years trying to get you to a point to where you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to keep buying the sword. You didn't have to keep fucking living your life doing what you hate and saying that you love it, but you really don't, and not doing what you fully do. And you can tell because of how somebody expresses themselves. If all you have to do right now is go, when I see somebody, whether it's in person, it's in anywhere in life, it's on a camera, if they fucking have a soul and you can feel it and you can see it in their fucking life, they are living in their path. If it is not, that's what Pluto is. The full expression of soul to transcend into the higher realm, back to where we came from, not the underworld. We are in the underworld. That's the glyph of Pluto. Wake up. But most people are not being taught that. Most people don't know jack shit about Pluto or jack shit on how it was already being drawn by John Dee back in 1564. Most people have no fucking idea what the fuck's going on. Zero. And you know, that's how you know that they're not living their life. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to even bring you this truth and even say this kind of shit to you. A lot of people call themselves a light worker. A lot of people call themselves a starseed. Let's see and how they express themselves. This is not the world of the introvert. This is now the world of the extrovert. It's not a time anymore to just sit around and hope that something's going to change. You are the change maker now. And it's come to the point to where everything that you know needs to change is at the point where it's either changing right now or it's not. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're the one holding yourself back to an old world of fear, and more importantly, an old world that is a deception. This is your new moon to set an intention, and it's way bigger than an intention. It is forging forward and not being stuck in the caboose and watching and observing. Because the caboose with this Saturn Neptune is going to be full of people. And a lot of people, because they believed in that deceptive world. And this isn't new. I've been telling people this since 2016. This is the moment where you've got to forge ahead. It's a world that, with Pluto and Aquarius, it's the gamble. It's, you gamble with the wild hunch because you know it's true, and it comes true in a weird way that you can't even predict, and that you didn't think it would turn out that way, but it still turned out in a weird, similar way. This is the only way through. There's way more going on with all the way that you look at this reality, from every leak to it's all about how many lies and how many falsities there is about what they tell you this world is. And when Pluto is in Aquarius, you have to be the counter force by not going against, but by creating a new way. And if you can't even do that with your own basic life, please go sit down and be an observer. And that's okay, because there's us here who came here to do this shit, and you can clap and support, and we'll fucking love that. And at the same time, you can start to build up your ability to do that yourself. But if you are not even ready to do that for yourself, please just observe. Because this is instead of trying to participate into the darkest matrix bullshit reptilian world that they are literally set you perfectly up for at this moment. Oh, everything's over. It's going to be fine. If you really want to go into this shit on a deeper way, be on High Vibe, watch Deep Astrology. That's where I show you every chart and what's going on, because you can't even, anybody who's going to try and tell you that they can give you the whole entire picture here, I'll have fun and tell you the whole picture of what's going on. You have to be able to give this whole astrology over this next, not only just month, but 19 years. There's no other way. There's no other way. You can't just, this is, anybody who's out there who's just going to be like, this is a new moon, that's great for me to do this, and blah, 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 and transform, and da, da, da. You already know they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They really don't. There's a way more bigger picture, and I can't do that in one horoscope. It has to be in an extended, long form, and with showing multiple aspects, because the amount of compression that has happened since 2004 in that same eclipse, and this one's tighter, this one's bigger magnitude. This one is the one that defines us and changes what we define Aquarius to be. Don't forget that in Vedic astrology, we just had Jupiter move into Aries. The bold will win this in life. And there is bold on both sides, the dark and the light. But many people in the light are too afraid to be bold. and to actually step out of their introversion and be extroverted and start to write things like the founding fathers did, like people who actually created a new world, and there was very few. And it's going to be the same. You already see it right now. Too many people are too afraid. And this is where that fear, we have to get out of that fear and we got to step into it. But, you know, the fear is not what you think. It's not about, well, I'm afraid to step into myself. It's like you're afraid to fucking literally be yourself. You're afraid to literally create your own life that is original, that nobody can copy when it looks like the copy of something else. Remember, it was Pluto in Aquarius where counterfeiting became so big. There is just going to be counterfeit people after counterfeit people. You know, trust me, I already see it in my own life with fucking a couple of astrologers out there that literally fucking copy the exact way. It's like, oh my God, you want the cheap Leo King version? Have fun. Like, have fun with that. You know, because right now, this is where people with North Node Taurus energy and the sun that's coming this week, and the sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius, those that know value will go to the new place. Those that pick the cheap route will not go. You can't go to a higher reality and pick the cheap route. You can't go to a higher energy in life and pick the counterfeit. Because that means you're a counterfeit within yourself. That you are cheap in how you treat your soul. That's the truth. What is the card for this new moon? 7 of Swords. Upright. This world is a lie. There are so many fucking things that you need to pay attention to. And you have to be one that's willing to call that shit out and show the world a different way. Or you are totally the one who can't even see what's going on and doesn't even know. And you know what? I love this new moon solar eclipse square Pluto. I am fucking so happy. I was born with Sun square Pluto. And this new moon, this solar eclipse opposes my fucking Pluto and exact and squares my sun. While Pluto's opposing my sun and squaring my Pluto. I'm telling you. There's nobody else that will deliver this message. Maybe Cam Wank and maybe Tom Lester. Those are the only 2 other astrologers I know that are 0 Leos like me. We all share the same, we're going through the same thing. But, you know, I'm the one with the Pluto square. So, I'm telling you, listen, this is a reality where you have to stop lying to yourself and stop acting like everything's going to be okay when you're living in this false bullshit of what you think is the world. It's not. Go back to 2004. I guarantee you had a moment where it was like, I could pick this other reality in this other timeline in this other world. Thank God I did. Holy shit. My whole life has been, you really live that life? Yeah, I do. And you're successful and you're happy and yeah. But I can tell you, everybody tried to tell me no. Don't do that. I can't believe you do that. That's not going to last forever. Are you really lying to yourself? Five of Pentacles. I knew, you know what's weird is, like I said, I'm calling this the light worker eclipse, and there's that many people out there that get that, and that this is a beautiful moment. Most people, I'm just gonna be real, this is your realization of that you've been tricked, literally tricked into a life that you literally know sucks, and you're too afraid to get out of it, and you actually enjoy the pattern of the shitty life and living in the shitty matrix and trying to find all these escapes through your shadows to make you feel better, which are really just trauma that you just continue to keep doing. when you could have this, which again is there's nothing outside that will make you happy. It's what will make you happy within and the experiences that you have. And that's what I hope. And I truly do believe that everybody can get through this, but I just hope that I am proven wrong. And this is, as a double Leo, a ninth house solar eclipse with Jupiter. I do believe, trust me. But I also am not stupid. I'm an astrologer that understands what's happening at play here. That it's through this chaotic aspect that's going to happen to most people in their lives to actually wake them up. If you think the last 3 years was chaotic, they kept the matrix up for you. This is where it starts to fall apart. You could be on the team that's about building the new reality and light and the love and the true age of Aquarius, to be honest, right now. Or you can just keep waiting and keep getting sucked into, keep a system operating that's on its last legs. Why do you think AI's here? Their little pet. They've been growing. Why do you think that they're calling fucking a fucking ship that I called it a mothership in 2021 before that came out? I literally did. Go watch my Purgatory. Fucking it's on YouTube for free. I literally called it out. I said that thing came to birth AI in 2019 and 2018 when they were building it, because it came in 2017, that it was coming and it set up the whole building of this new quantum computer system. And that's what came out. And all the things that you think of what COVID is and all that shit is the quantum computer. That's what it's creating, the reality. It is creating what you see on TV. You might think I'm crazy. It's all from that. That's the alien. That's what it is. It's a fucking quantum computer system, and they are keeping you in it. Escape. This is my like pray to every single person out there to get the fuck out now. I'm telling you now. You can have the best life you've ever had in your life. But stop creating the bullshit. I still have to keep feeding the reptilian workforce. I still have to keep feeding the reptilian life. That's bullshit, and you know it. I'm going to still stay in this horrible relationship that is just fake, because I'm going to still keep living in my own shadows, because that makes me feel better about myself. All that is not divine and holy and spiritual is coming down and will not materialize and create a wholesome life for you. Get on board now. Face your truth. You an observer, you ready to write? Even if you say you're an observer and you're going to observe, at least you're willing to say that you're willing to accept that you're ready to mount on the right side. No more on the fate train, as we are now entering into a time where it's not about trains. Or not about the control systems of Capricorn. But we are now on the true horizon of eternity. So, not the horizon of time. But again, unless you read some esoteric books, you'll know what that means. I appreciate you all. Please join High Vibe. You want the real shit. And also, I am doing my reading sale because I am about to be a daddy. So, you can go to highvibe.tv, click on consultations. I appreciate you all so much. I thank you all very much. It's been awesome having Rich Lopp and our new show that we're doing on Mondays on YouTube. And then, of course, on High Vibe. We're about to announce with him a whole new show he's going to be doing exclusive on High Vibe. We're going to be doing that show every Monday. Lots of cool shit going on right now. Definitely get your reading. It's booking up quick, so the dates are going by fast. But there's so much cool shit. Check it out, highvibe.tv. And High Vibe TV School is moving to highvibe.tv on the app and everything. So that migration is taking place over the next week or two. There was a lot of renegotiations before that finally got done. I did sign the contract. So it's very exciting that High Vibe TV School is moving to the app. We've got the community. We've got so many aspects on there. Most people have not seen at all. I dare you to go look. I dare you to go try what, for the last, since 2014 in the Leo King app, has been the vision. That is all there. in every way. It's been everything in my life to do it. And it's been worth every single moment. And I gambled it all on this moment. And we'll see how that gamble turns out. If people really want to be part of a awesome, independent, unique, spiritual, where you could express yourself and make your own posts and be part of the community and all these different aspects that are not just traditional. They're in an app with live stream video, with all this shit, all at the same place. And now the school being integrated all into it on its own app. Not some bullshit, fake bullshit. People call it an app. It's on a website shit. All the bullshit's coming down, especially people that are bullshit. Okay? People who identify off bullshit, their bullshit's going to be exposed. So, I love being a 5-1 manifesting generator, especially a pure one, especially with fucking 7 channels. I could tell you that everybody paints this huge picture of me, and I'm the projection wave. Like, that literally is my life. Like, I don't even do anything if fucking people think I'm doing some crazy thing. So project on me all you want. I'm just the heretic here to give you the fucking truth. And it was Saturn and Neptune and Pisces in 1523. Do your fucking history where they did the heretics bill because of the Catholic Church. And they're going to do it again. And they're doing it right now in California. That's going to be put national-wide. I've been warning you about mental institutions and them being able to take the power and say that you're crazy off what they see offline or whatever and throw you in a loony bin and force you, medicate you. It's happening right now. Look it up. AB 43. I'm wishing you the best for the next 2,000 years of this new age. I hope that I see you during this next 2,000 years because this eclipse is literally bringing us into it right now. And I hope I see you on this new frequency, this new vibration, this new earth, and this new timeline. I hope that you make it there. I hope that you're not just watching. I love you all very much. You got to make the changes. I'll see you on the next one. Adios. Bye-bye.
Okay. Beat monster.